Hi, I'd like to talk to you about something which a lot of people don't realise, and that's the difference between joy and happiness. You often hear them used in the same sentence. He was really joyful, terrifically happy. They are not the same. Joy and happiness are very different. Happiness depends upon something happening external to ourselves, and we interpret it as being good, as being pleasant. Joy, however, does not depend on what happens outside of ourselves. It sort of whelms up from within. And we can get increasing joy, for example, if we do meditation over a long time, we become increasingly joyful. That's one of the byproducts of it. That's one of the beauties of long time meditation. It makes one, amongst other things, more joyful. I'd like to read from a book here, written by Jill Bolte Taylor, who wrote the book My Stroke of Insights, which was a bestseller, and this one here, Whole Brain Living. And Jill Bolte Taylor was a neurophysiologist, and she knows her stuff. She's put a lot of research into this and knows far more about the brain than I ever will. But I'd like to read out what she said, because we've come to the same conclusions. And here's what Jill says. I want to point out, however, that happiness is not the same as joy. Although both happiness and joy are positive emotions, they are very different psychologically and neuroanatomically. As many have observed, joy is cultivated from within. It comes when we make peace with who we are, why we are, and how we are. Whereas happiness is contingent on external things, people, places, thoughts, and events. So be clear on this. Happiness and joy are not the same. Happiness can be very fleeting indeed. Joy becomes imbued within ourselves, and the chances of joy coming up more and more often increases over time. So as we grow older, providing we've lived a life that we regard as a good life in our own minds, we will become increasingly satisfied with it, and joy will arise more often, more spontaneously. Happiness, as I said, is fleeting. We all like to be happy, but we have to have its opposite. There has to be a contextual field. To know when we're happy, we have to know its opposite. Sadness, disappointment, disillusion, etc. Happiness is the other end of the spectrum, whereas joy is something else indeed. Joy is a field within ourselves. You could say it is ourselves. Joy is a part of the godliness that we all have within us. Go for joy.